The hotel lobby in Monastir, Tunisia, was quiet. It was late, past 2 a.m., and a strict team curfew was in effect. But at 2:10 a.m., the silence was broken when 3 key Super Eagles players were discovered away from their rooms. Boom! The consequence was swift and brutal. The very next morning, the coach ordered them to leave the camp immediately. Their tournament was over before it had truly begun. Without mercy, Yakubu Aiyegbeni, Celestine Babayaro, and Victor Agali were sent home. Was this a case of blatant indiscipline, a calculated setup, or something driven by internal team politics? Today, we unpack one of Nigerian football's most enduring mysteries, the AFCON 2004 dismissals. Tunisia, January 2004. The African Cup of Nations had returned to North Africa, and the Super Eagles, in Nigeria, the giant of Africa, arrived as overwhelming favourites to win the title for the 3rd time. Placed in Group C alongside Morocco, South Africa, and Benin Republic, the squad boasted a blend of young stars and seasoned internationals. The national expectation was massive. However, that high hope quickly derailed into shocking controversy just after their first match. Nigeria lost its opening match 1-0 to Morocco, a strike sealed by a Yusuf Hadji in the 77th minute. That defeat immediately raised tensions in the camp and set the context for the drama that followed. Curfew rules at tournament camps are standard, designed to ensure rest, recovery, and focus. The Super Eagles curfew required players to be in their rooms by 10:30 p.m. In the early hours following the Morocco loss, the camp commandant, an assistant superintendent of police, began a routine check. It was during this check that the commandant discovered Yakubu Aiyegbeni, Celestine Babayaro, and Victor Agali in the hotel lobby. While contemporary reports suggested they were returning from a nightclub, the trio claimed they were merely having coffee when confronted by officials. The security report, however, relayed a much different and more damaging account. Former coach Christian Chukwu later confirmed that the security team informed him that women had been brought into the players' rooms, an allegation he publicly described as an abominable iniquity. Chukwu has always maintained that the swift decision to remove the players was based solely on the official report from his security staff. The drama intensified at dawn. Coach Chukwu met with NFA Secretary General Taiwo Ogunjobi and the sports minister. The key question was sharp: are you certain about dismissing these players? Chukwu was unwavering, 100% certain. The coach made his announcement over breakfast, stunning the squad. The room erupted with emotion. Teammates pleaded, and voices rose in protest. Captain JJ Okocha, the team's undisputed star, later pulled Chukwu aside after training and desperately asked for clemency. Chukwu, seeking to restore his authority without backing down completely, offered a compromise: the trio would only be welcomed back after the crucial match against South Africa. This was more than just a disciplinary action. For Chukwu, it was a necessary display of absolute control. Analysts later suggested his tough stance was a calculated move to stamp authority, echoing past criticisms that previous Nigerian coaches had been perceived as weak. News of the expulsion leaked fast, turning a camp issue into an international scandal. The response from the players' European clubs was just as dramatic. Yakubu's Portsmouth reportedly arranged a private jet to return him to the UK immediately. Babayaro joined the flight back to Chelsea, and Agali returned to Schalke 04. This spectacle cemented the severity of the crisis in global headlines. Despite the chaos, the remaining Super Eagles delivered an almost shocking turnaround. Shaken but refocused, they steamrolled South Africa for 0 and followed up with a 2-1 victory over Benin. Their run continued into the knockout stages, where they faced their perennial nemesis, Cameroon, in the quarter-final. In a classic clash of African giants, the determined Super Eagles emerged victorious, beating the defending champions 2-1. Their triumphant journey finally concluded in the semi-finals, where they were agonizingly defeated 5-3 on penalties by the host nation, Tunisia. The internal crisis had ironically forged a team spirit strong enough to take them deep into the tournament. While the team achieved success, the personal fallout for the trio cast a long and complicated shadow over their international careers. For Yakubu Aiyegbeni, reconciliation came eventually. By the summer of 2004, the NFA, in damage control mode, sent Taiwo Ogunjobi and other officials to Yakubu's residence in Maryland, Lagos, to personally broker peace. The mission was successful. The Yak returned to the fold, playing crucial qualifying matches for the 2006 World Cup and the Nations Cup qualifiers. However, Aiyegbeni remained an unpredictable force. He clashed with new coach Celestine Babayaro after being left out of the starting lineup against Algeria in Iran, only coming on as a substitute. Feeling disrespected, Aiyegbeni refused to show up in the Faro, Portugal camp when the Eagles were preparing for the Egypt 2006 AFCON, confirming his reputation as a brilliant, yet volatile, talent who would not be managed easily. For Celestine Babayaro, the dismissal proved to be a quiet, permanent farewell. Though coach Babayaro later attempted to contact him at Newcastle to invite him for the 2006 preparations, Babayaro refused to answer calls or reply to fax messages. With the dependable option still in the team and the rapid, powerful emergence of the young Taiwo, the NFA felt no immediate pressure to tender the formal apology Babayaro likely sought. His Super Eagles career simply faded away. And what of Victor Agali? His chances of returning were minimized not by a lack of will, but by the relentless march of talent. The simultaneous and spectacular emergence of dynamic young strikers Obafemi Martins and Osaze Odemwingie meant that the Nigerian coaching crew and NFA simply did not miss Agali's presence, effectively ending his time with the national side. 20 years on, the incident remains one of the most defining, controversial, and decisive moments in Super Eagles history. Was the treatment of Yakubu Aiyegbeni, Celestine Babayaro, and Victor Agali too harsh? Were they used as scapegoats to cover the shame of the loss against Morocco? Or was this necessary shock treatment a brutal but effective way for coach Christian Chukwu to establish the absolute authority required to drive the team to the semi-finals? The curfew and the consequences. A stark reminder that discipline can be a devastating price for success. We want to hear from you. Was Chukwu's decision the right call for the team, or a massive injustice to the players? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.